By now, it's fairly obvious this year, 2024, is the year of the humanoid bot. General purpose robots are making waves and becoming a reality. So today, let's discuss what is the major use case for these bots. Many, including Tesla, Figure, 1X, Apptronik, and others have announced their intentions on targeting the home market. How many US households will adopt a bot? Cern Basher is a chartered financial analyst who's done deep research and financial modeling on this. Thank you so much, Cern.
Hi, Herbert. It's great to be here.
So, of course, you and I have been following the bot market as well as John Gibbs and Scott Walter. We formed a company called Human Bots. We're going to help businesses adopt to this new mixed labor workforce. So if you're a business out there and you want to understand, how humans are going to work with not only humanoid bots, but industrial robots and human scale bots, this mixed labor workforce is inevitable. It's already there. Give us a call. But what you've become known as, Cern, is basically, we call you the bot bull because you dive deep and you do financial modeling on the bots. And a lot of, we've heard even Elon say this, that the bigger market beyond factories is homes. It'll take them maybe longer to get there, but let's take a look at what tasks would they do at the home. Would people like me buy a bot? What, depending on what price, depending on how long they work. So before we get to your tables and your analysis, which is gorgeous and works really well, let's start with this that was shared by Brett Winton, who's ARK Invest, who's just now starting to do their deep dive on humanoid bots. And they shared this from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, said in 2023, the annual average hours that humans are spending, men and women, on various household tasks. So you can see here that food preparation, the blue is average hours in total. I don't know what that is. What is that? Less than an hour in food preparation cleanup? Come on. It's got to be more than that. Interior cleaning? 30 minutes? No, dude. Lawn care, like 10 minutes? Come on. Okay, but anyways, this is what they're saying, right? There's exterior maintenance, interior maintenance, lawn care, household management, laundry, interior cleaning, food prep, and all total of all of them is about 2 hours a day. Okay, this is per day. Gotcha. This is per day, but still, what do you think about the stats?
Well, I think these stats are interesting, but in Brett's post, he talked about there being about 4 hours a day spent on what he called mundane activities.
Yeah.
Now, I think he also included things like walking the dog and other things in there.
Right.
Besides this. So basically, he's using hours that are about twice what this one page is showing.
Okay. So the first step is break it down. What are the tasks humans do at home? How often do they spend it? How long do they spend? Okay. So this is Brett Winton. He started this conversation by saying, I don't know what he meant by this, but productivity, delivering innovations, take non-market labor and turn it into market activity. I guess what he's saying is that currently this is open for the taking. Could it be that somebody, a household would start paying a bot in this case to take over labor that they currently don't sell? Like, no, there's non-market right now. Nobody's selling this, a little bit, right? You might hire a babysitter, you might hire a maid, you might hire a driver, but few.
I think the point is here that we all do work that we don't get paid for.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. And so we drive ourselves around. We all take out our own trash, right? Yeah. We walk our dogs, right? And we pick up toys and everything else in the house, laundry, dishes, and all that stuff. That it is possible, if the right opportunity and service comes along, that could become something that we end up paying for. And that's what he's exploring here.
Makes sense. Okay. Average American household, you just said it, 4 hours daily on these mundane tasks. People are typically willing to pay half their average wage rate to save themselves personal time. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if he has stats to back that up. So if somebody's getting paid $25 an hour, more than half of U.S. households should be willing to spend $12 an hour for robot labor. What do you think about that assumption?
Yeah, I think that's interesting because there certainly is a point at which you're willing to spend some money to save time. Right. There's this trade-off. And according to Brett, that is half of what your wage rate is. So if you're making, let's say, $10 an hour, you're willing to pay $5 an hour to free up some personal time. Right. After all, what's the point of working if you can't get some free time? So I don't know where he gets that stat from. To me, it sounds reasonable to a point. Particularly if perhaps you could free up some time, but use a portion of that time
To do work.
to work and make more money.
Make more money. So he says, if a robot lasts 4 years, then can ally half of household task work, then it should be able to sell into 65 million American households at a price point of $35,000. That says crude math. Mapping crudely to income distribution, 25 million households would be willing to spend 70,000 for the same capability. I don't know about that, but yeah.
These are the numbers that I decided to dive into. So this is what I wanted to check.
Yeah.
In this post, but I like the way he's thinking here. I thought this was an interesting approach.
So then he says the addressable market for $35,000 bot and above 35,000 and more household robots should be about 440 billion annually, extended globally about 1.8 trillion annually. As humanoid robots cross these capability thresholds, the non-manufacturing market could easily eclipse the current global automotive market. And all of these sales are new economic production, taking non-market activity, converting it into a new market. It sounds basically what I think Elon Musk is saying too, right? He's saying that the household market is going to be great, and the prices of 35,000 seems to be on the high side, and eventually you can lease it. That's the other thing; you don't have to shell out 35,000.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to kind of check into some detail and run the numbers myself and to see if I could duplicate his work here. And so I took a couple of different approaches in doing so, and I came up with numbers that are similar to Brett's, although not quite as high.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So you just posted this today, which is, thank you for sharing it with me first. It says U.S. household humanoid bot adoption revenue potential. This is what you are kind of just guesstimating on and analyzing. What is the adoption rate for these bots by humans, by households, and revenue potential? How many U.S. households will adopt a bot? You nice play on words there, dude. Okay. Mm-hmm. Extending the work of Brett Winton using two different approaches, I calculate a rough market potential for household bots of 10 to 17 million bots and annual industry revenue of $235 to $335 billion. Gorgeous graph. Tell me what this is.
Yeah. So again, there's two different approaches here. One is I take a look at income and the ranges of income. And the second one we'll discuss in a minute is looking at net worth and ranges of net worth.
Nice.
So this is income. So on the left is various ranges of income, less than $15,000, 15 to 25, et cetera, on up to 200,000 and above. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is data that's reported by the government. There are about 135 million households in the United States. There's the rough breakdown of the number of households in each income group, and then the percent of the population, or the percent of the households in each of those groups. Okay. Based on kind of the midpoint in those ranges, I calculated a rough hourly wage rate. So for somebody earning less than $15,000 a year, they might be making $5 an hour, effectively.
But I thought that's not possible with minimum wage rates.
Well, these people obviously aren't working full time. So
I see.
You know, I'm just, here I have to assume that everybody's working the same number of hours, and that's not correct either.
Okay, understood.
Okay. And so you can see with the different income groups what the hourly wage rates roughly work out to. And then with each income bucket, each range, the total income in millions of dollars for each of those buckets. So the total income of 11 trillion in the economy, in the US economy, wage income. Okay. And you can see that the higher end is a couple trillion and so on down. There's a kind of a bulge in the middle there of between $100,000 and $150,000 a year. That's $2.7 trillion of income in that bucket. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, to go with Brett's approach in the next column, if a bot works 4 hours a day and costs $10 an hour, I think in his numbers, I think he used like 12. I just went with 10. I lowered it a little bit, $10 an hour for 4 hours a day. Okay. Then the bot company could charge $14,600 a year. And I'm assuming that the bot is offered as a subscription service. And the subscription is you get the bot 4 hours a day, right? $10 an hour. Here's your cost. Okay. This is the assumption I'm making in this particular table and then trying to project it out. Now, for that first group where they make less than $15,000,
Yeah, they're not going to buy.
the
Nobody's gonna buy them.
$14,600 bot cost is 146% of their income. They're not
Yeah,
going to do it. So I have
nobody's gonna do it.
adoption percentage of 0.
Yeah.
Working through the groups, you can see that the adoption percentage grows
hmm
and peaks out at 65% for those that are making $200,000
Where did you
more.
get this assumption?
I pulled those from thin air.
At least it's
Okay?
from thin air, not from somewhere else.
From thin air, Herbert. I just thought, okay, if I was in somebody's shoes making, $150,000 a year, what likelihood would I have to rent a bot?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's see. If I'm
Right.
making $150,000, would I pay $14,600 a year to have a bot? That's 10% of 12% of my income. And you're saying, well, if 15% of people will do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to laugh. I think that thin air grabs not too bad based on my
Right.
thin air.
Yeah. I've tried to be reasonable. Now, obviously, there's a margin of error around all this.
Mhm.
And that's why I did a number of different scenarios. So this is scenario 1,
Yeah.
and I get to 17 million bots and industry revenue of $250 billion.
You know what you need to do? You should do is overlay this to housekeepers and cooks or something like that. Like what percentage of people making 200,000 buy hire housekeepers? Maid services.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think with the bot, obviously, it can do, kind of a bit of
More.
everything, right?
But it
So,
gives you a sense of what percentage actually already outsource a certain kind of task.
sure.
hmm
Yep, that would be something to explore. Okay, so this was one way to look at it. Now, the interesting thing is if you go to the next table, it's the income approach, but looking at a bot cost of $20 an hour.
Half
Okay. Now, of course, that's going to price even more people out.
more expensive, double. Okay.
But what's interesting here, even at 11 million bots, the industry
Mhm.
revenue goes to 335 billion.
hmm
It's higher than the previous example. So what this is interesting is that the bot industry really there's probably no rush to price the bots at a low price.
hmm
They could actually make more money with fewer bots by pricing it higher.
hmm
Okay. And again, I adjusted all the bot adoption numbers down on every category. So at the high end, it goes from 65% bot adoption to 50%. Now, maybe I've made a wrong assumption there. Maybe it goes from 65 down to 30%.
Yeah.
Maybe it drops a lot if the price doubles.
Do you think people can afford 30 grand a year? That now we're getting into car prices, and yes, this is the annual bot cost. This isn't just a car one-time thing. We're
Yeah.
talking yearly. I mean, this is getting crazy at this point.
Yes, but think about it again. If it frees up your time, you're going to spend some of that time on extra leisure, but you can also spend some of that time on making more money yourself. So
Mm.
it doesn't actually take that much extra hours to pay for the bot. Right? If the bot can
Maybe.
free you up from, food prep and cleaning and laundry and all that stuff, what is
I don't
that
know.
worth to you for that extra time? And
If
would you work more hours in your job to cover
Mhm.
that? Now, a lot of people's jobs, they don't have the ability to work extra hours and make more money. That their jobs don't work that way. They are on a salary and there's no opportunity to make more.
Mhm.
But maybe they would do something in the evenings where they could generate some income for a
Okay.
couple of hours if they don't have to do the dishes and the laundry and so on,
Mhm.
clean. So yeah, I mean, you're right. I think this is kind of a high price,
Yeah, that's too high.
right? So I'm struggling here to get to Brett's $440 billion number,
hmm
right? I'm more in the 200 to 300-ish range.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there are many people out there that have low income, but a decent net worth. So let's take a look at that approach. So now we've got ranges of net worth. Okay. On the left, some people's net worth is negative, and then
Yeah.
it goes up to 5 million and above.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a distribution there. There's a total net worth of the country of 157 trillion. And then if we price the bot at $10 an hour for 4 hours a day, that's the 14,600 a year. And you can see the bot budget as a percent of net worth. And so I'm saying that for somebody that's got a net worth of 5 million or more, 80% of those people are going to get bots. Okay, and that's 4.5 million households. 80% of that, 3.6 million bots from that group. And then it drops down from there as net worth declines. And I get to 16 million bots in total, which is very similar to the 17 million in the first scenario at this price point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's a $237 billion market. Okay, and then the final scenario here is the same thing at $20 an hour, fewer bots, 10 million bots, and about a $300 billion market opportunity. So my conclusion is that my rough numbers, this rough approach, gets me into a range that's very close to what Brett had. And I think he's in the ballpark. I think we're in the ballpark in terms of the opportunity in the US for bots within households. Now, we don't know yet what the bot pricing is going to be. I think ultimately it could be quite a bit cheaper than what we're showing here.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But initially it won't be, because if I'm a factory and I can have the bots work 24/7, those bots are way more valuable to me than it is to somebody in a house who only wants to use it for 4 hours a day. Now, there is something interesting that could happen. If the bot companies offer a fixed price for a bot that's based on 4 hours a day, well, there's nothing stopping me from using it 20 hours a day. I can rent it out to my friends and neighbors, right? And potentially make some money from renting out my bot. Now, if I'm a bot maker, I may not want that because that's lost revenue to me. So it'll be interesting to see how this market develops, right? Am I allowed to be a bot fleet manager of my own personal fleet of bots? And can I rent them out to my neighbors? Or am I only allowed to use it for my own personal use, my family's use?
This is why I have a bit of an issue when I hear bot vendors, including Tesla, talking about going to the home. This is like, for me, many years away because of what you just said. The businesses will pay a lot more.
Yeah.
Households will not. There's a price sensitivity here. That's why I'm reacting to that. 14 grand a year, 30, 25 grand a year. No,
right.
Just not. I mean, the household tasks are important, but they're not. If you're rich, then you will hire a like, when would you end up hiring a personal trainer or household or a housekeeper, like live in and all that? That's a lot. You have options to pay a maid, and that's why I'd like you to actually compare that. Like, would I buy the bot if it's that price versus just hiring the current price I would pay for, having a maid come 1 hour a week and that's it? I just think that there's a price sensitivity for household, and so they need to get the price low, and it has to do a lot of tasks, and then everybody will do it. But that comes only after, like you said, the businesses are going to overbid on this.
That does seem to me like it's further down the road, and for an additional reason is that bots in a structured environment like a factory are much easier to control and make sure that they're safe.
Right.
A home is a very unstructured environment. So what's to make sure that your bot doesn't step on your cat or your dog or your baby? Right.
They're all the bot vendors that I've spoken to, and I just spoke to one recently who told us that they're all working towards the home, and to be a cobot, working closely with a human, especially what they call a vulnerable humans, like babies and elderly people in wheelchair, like sick. It's too dangerous at this point. But they think within 2 years, they'll get the certification to be safe enough. They're all working toward that level. You've got 1X who's already designing their bot from the beginning to be as safe as possible to go to the home this year, because it doesn't have any metal parts. It's very soft. It's like 66 pounds. They already designed it as such that it'll be safe. So I'm not terribly concerned about, it might be 2 years, let's say 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but it's more the cost to me as the issue.
So another approach that I took a look at is I took what I call the Sweden approach.
Okay.
And this is an approach, or maybe even Norway, I forget where this is, but for example, if you get a speeding ticket,
Hmm.
and I forget, I'm sorry which country it is, Norway or Sweden or one of those countries, the speeding ticket is in relation to your income,
Wow, I didn't know this.
right? And there's a famous story, I think, of an executive at Nokia who once got a $300,000 speeding ticket or something, right?
Are you kidding? This is real. Really?
Yeah, yeah, because it
Okay.
was based on a percentage of his income, right?
Okay.
And so let's take that kind of idea and apply it to humanoid bots in the household. And let's say the bot companies either decided to or were forced to charge their bots in relation to somebody's income, right? And so in the blue box, the light blue box, I've got the bot cost being equal to 20 hours a week of work at a rate that's half of your wage rate.
Hold on. I just looked it up. Norway, it's 10% of your income. If
Yeah.
you're caught speeding in Norway, expect to pay a $3,000 fine on your ticket. Norway levies a fine of 10% of your annual income for speeding tickets. I love it. Okay.
Yeah. People with high income do not speed in Norway.
Yeah.
And that may explain why Norway now is 84% EVs or something. They've made the switch, but yeah. So let's apply that thinking to this, right? And so
Yes.
even at the low end, if you make less than $15,000, your bot
Yeah.
costs could be $2,600 a year,
Yes.
which is still a quarter of your income.
Still too much. Yeah.
Okay. But if we follow this out, if this, and again, this is a silly kind of example, but it's still worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
We did that across the board to all the income groups.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get an 100% adoption. Again, I'm looking at something at the limit here. If everybody decides they want a bot, that's how we structure it. You've got 135 million bots and a bot industry revenue of almost $3 trillion. Now, again, there's a lot wrong with this scenario. I'm just showing something at the limit.
Yeah.
But if your adoption is 50% across the board, you're at a $1.5 trillion industry. Okay, or if the adoption is 10% across the board, then you're at a $300 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of different ways that the bot vendors can slice and dice how they price their bots. Ultimately, it's probably going to be based on capability, and then of course supply and demand. What's the market bear in terms of the bot price? Is demand high for the supply that the industry can pump out? I think the bot vendors are going to find that factories and warehouses and distribution centers have the highest demand and are willing to pay the most, because you can save them the most amount of money if the bot can work, let's say 20 hours a day, something like 7,000 hours a year.
Mm-hmm.
Those companies are willing to pay a lot more for the bot than any household is.
I like the way you concluded. You said this, right? Bot makers may not allow you to rent out your bot because that's lost. Okay, we talked about that. Yeah, they're not going to let you rent it out. But then you said, Brett assumed that bots are sold and might last for 4 years. Your assumption that bot makers will largely do bots as a service, especially for the households. So bots become just like cell phone or Netflix, just another monthly subscription. Also, with bots as a service, you don't have to worry about your bot breaking down if there's a problem with your bot. Yeah. Elon has said that they'll do both models. They'll sell it to you, but they'll also do a monthly subscription. I think this is more about what's going to happen. So you want a bot do housekeeping? You can choose to hire housekeepers today. I think it's like, I just $500 for 3 people to come for 3 hours versus get a bot to do it. Probably going to be much cheaper.
Yeah, and the bot can do a whole bunch of other things as well, not just housekeeping. Also, when we talk about these different models of selling bots versus a bot as a service, I actually think it's more likely going to be a hybrid. I think that companies will likely end up selling the bots and recouping the capital cost and making some small profit, but then there'll be a recurring revenue element to it as well.
Exactly. It could, why not? Yeah, both, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So interesting. So personally, do you think that bot vendors are going to get into U.S. household? Do you think that U.S. household is larger market than businesses or factories, commercial? Because that's what Elon said. It's like I don't remember the exact number, but 10 times bigger?
The commercial market or the household market?
Household market. He keeps saying that it's
Yeah. I mean, in terms of sheer number of people, I guess I see the potential for it, but I still struggle with
yeah.
it's going to be hard for a household to make use of a bot for 20 hours a day, right? Whereas a factory can.
Yeah.
And that is very valuable to a factory. So to me, the value added in a commercial setting is much higher than in a household setting.
Mhm.
But long term, if the cost of the bot comes way down and they're selling these things for $10,000 or $8,000, then absolutely, you go mass market and there's potentially billions of people in the world that would want one.
Well, let me
Long
throw a
term.
wrench in your thin air analysis. The wrench is, when we started this show, we went down the list of all the bot potential, the household tasks that humans do, and
Yeah.
this is what bots can do. There's another one, which is companion.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have a bot and they're cleaning, but you talk to it. It tells you jokes. You develop a personality. You become friends. It's almost like your dog. It becomes like a pet, or more than a pet. It actually truly is more than a pet. You become friends with this thing. Imagine, you already know how ChatGPT and AI is today.
Yeah.
You can already become girlfriend with one of them, and it knows what to say when to say it. This can look at you in the eyes. It can see your emotions. It can adapt to that emotion. Everything okay there, Cern? Are you doing okay? This could be way more than just a cleaning bot. It could be like your psychologist. It can be your significant other. So 24 hours a day, dude.
I think you make a very, very important point. Obviously, bots are going to be way more than just machines that do useful work. Right. I've talked about bots being a new computing platform, but even beyond that, it's something that we're going to have a relationship with to some degree. And then Elon talks about if you could have
Skins,
C3PO and so on, if you could have those kinds of droids, why wouldn't you? They're fun to be around and they're funny, and why wouldn't you want those around, right? And I think that's an important point.
You should do the other model, which is what you did. Was you did it from a demand model. But what happens when the demand and the price and all that hits a point where then the cost of the bots just plummet? Then it becomes, that's where he's talking about, I think that there's going to be 2 or 3 bots per human.
Yeah, and I've done some work on that in the past, and I've shown that this is a quadrillion kind of market opportunity.
Yeah.
At bot pricing of like $3 an hour.
That's right. That's what you started with a long time ago. Right. I think you'll be proven correct. This $20, $40, that is, like you said, first year, second year.
Yeah.
Because of the demand, they'll be making so little bots, and the demand for those factories is so high, they'll pay you more. But once it crosses that, they can produce enough to spread beyond factories. It's like, yeah, it's going to plummet.
There's a couple of interesting things I think that happen in the short term. One is the bot's capability is going to grow.
Yeah.
And so right there, the value of a bot is going to increase, and it's probably going to be an exponential increase.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question is, how does that intersect with the supply and demand curve? So if people are seeing that the bot's capability is growing exponentially, then the demand's going to spike because they want that capability. But unless supply can meet that, then the price of the bots will go through the roof. So it's just a question of timing with all this thing, right? We've seen this in the EV market.
Yeah.
Where demand is spiked for EVs at certain times and capacity wasn't there. And now we've got excess capacity and demand's not quite there. And so you see what that does to price. Price is the ultimate thing that sorts all this out.
The other wrinkle to your thinking, or something for you to consider, is that you and I have talked to a number of bot vendors recently, and what they've learned, and they're now talking about, is that they actually don't think that they should send their bot to a factory to do one task, because they could, and that can be done right away. But if your goal is to have the general purpose humanoid bot, and there's a race to have the most intelligent bot that can do the most tasks, what they've learned is if you put a bot in an unstructured environment like a home, and it tries to do 5, 8, 10 different tasks, as opposed to a factory where it's just doing one pick and place, that's the fastest way to get to this intelligence that just bursts through. So what we might see is a bunch of bot vendors going, I'm going to give this at a reduced discounted fee. I will take the cost, send it to as many homes as possible, do as many tasks as possible, And then because it's a holy grail, you'll hit that holy grail where all of a sudden it's going to be the bot that can do anything and everything because the more tasks, So
I
that's
think the idea of a bot beta program, which I think Warren Redlick maybe first mentioned,
yes, he did.
maybe there were some others, but I would credit him, is a good idea at some point when the bot vendors are ready to do that. Because putting the bot in the real world and all the crazy things that can happen is probably a really good training, set of training data that they can't really duplicate themselves, right? That'll be an exciting time if there's ever an opportunity to have a bot
Wouldn't it be
beta
great
program.
if Tesla and Elon said, if you're a Tesla investor, if you're a Tesla customer, you get first dibs.
Yeah.
A little reward for us, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cern. This was a great analysis. It's worth. Like the way you've always positioned your data is you're just putting it out there, and it's wrong. There's a lot of assumptions you're wrong, but at least now people can say, yeah, this part's wrong, and then you can kind of dial it to your assumptions. But that's what you always do. It's just okay. Let's put the baseline here, and I like the way you did that. Thank you for doing that, sir.
You're welcome. I sort of feel like I'm peeling the layers off an onion that we don't really even quite know the shape of.
Yeah.
But through this process and the interactions with people and the feedback, we are getting closer to what things will look like and how they might be priced and how they'll operate. Yeah. And that's been a valuable process, frankly.
It must be rewarding, because I should mention to the audience here that you created a few of these when, like 6 months ago, we started doing the shows and we started guessing, and it was all guesses, like pulled it from thin air. And you put these tables up, and then what happened? We started talking to the bot vendor CEOs, and what did they say? Yeah. Your data was actually accurate, and it's actually like perfectly accurate. So there is some value to what you're doing, and it's turning out that you're not that far off. So
just trying to be less wrong, Herbert. That's all I want to be, less wrong.
There you go. Thank you much, Cern. Follow him on X at Cern Basher. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Herbert.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.